I'm actually shocked. I'm in shock. So basically what happened was Tottenham, gliding along in the second half, 3-0 up, and Fraser Forster trying to play Ange ball, the ball at his feet. What we've been worried about with Fraser Forster ever since we made it clear that he was our backup goalkeeper. He made his first mistakes properly with the ball at his feet, and he gave them 2 goals. And then just it was like the Alamo, and Manchester United just at us and at us and at us. And then, thank God, Son Heung-min with a 4th goal, which probably shouldn't have been allowed because Lucas Bergvall, who's good in the air, actually, he had a hand on the keeper, that's for sure. But can you tell I'm in shock? I'm very rarely at a loss of what to say, but somehow we're through. But it doesn't feel. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I'll go back to the game. The game started first half. I'd say Man United were popping it about nicely. They do look like they've got a shape and a pattern about them under Ruben Amorim. There was a good move in the first minute between Sonny and Decky on the left, and a kind of a long range kind of 1-2 that nearly fell to Sonny in the box from Kulusevski's cross. Bissouma started the game well, a couple of good early interceptions. Sonny had a good chance to get in on the left, but our final ball was blocked. That's all in the first 10 minutes. Porro also with some really good defending a few times in that first half, but where Spurs were kind of one-on-one at the back against Højlund and Dalot. There was a lot of space on the left-hand side all through that first half, but Porro did really well. And then Dragusin, some really good defending in the 11th minute from Radu Dragusin, who got ahead of Højlund one-on-one. Dragusin had a big game. He's really improving for me, Radu Dragusin, at the moment. Very big fan of his. And just as I see Jed Spence walking off the pitch, he had another brilliant game for Tottenham, Jed Spence. But I'll go into the individual performances in a bit. Bruno Fernandes was playing beautifully for Man United in that first half. He had a couple of cross-come shots that went off for a goal kick. Sonny had a shot in the 12th minute that he was aiming for the top corner, but it went wide. And Sarr and Bissouma, as I mentioned, really intercepting the ball nicely in central midfield. It went 1-0, 14th minute, 1-0 Spurs. Porro had a shot from just outside the box, saved by the keeper. He didn't get his save wide enough, though, and it was a beautiful finish from Dominic Solanke on the half volley in off the near post. 1-0 Spurs for Dominic Solanke's 8th goal of the season. Some more great defending from Porro in the 20th minute. Eriksen had a couple of shots in that first half, kind of on the edge of the box when the ball's laid back to him, and both times Archie Gray, who had another good game partnering Radu Dragusin, got his body in the way, once with his head and once with his foot. But Mazraoui was booked in the 25th minute. Eriksen had a shot just over the bar just before that. And Decky had a huge chance just after Mazraoui got booked, where he's in from 8 yards out. All he needs to do is shoot it across the goalkeeper. But he doesn't. He goes near post and the keeper made a save. United did play well in that in that first half. We had another chance in the 33rd minute. Decky maybe could have had a shot, but he crosses it, and it was nearly an own goal off Ugarte. And then United started ramping off the pressure. In the 35th minute, Porro had a long shot, but Bruno had a really good shot for United just wide. Højlund had a volley wide, and then Ugarte should have been booked for a foul on Maddison in the 38th minute, but wasn't. And that for me was one of many situations where United should have had a man booked and didn't. And the refs seemed to be kind of booking Spurs players for 50-50 stuff and not United players. In the second minute of added time in the first half, Eriksen had a shot blocked by Gray. I've mentioned that already. Okay, going into the second half, Decky Kulusevski made it 2-0 in the 46th minute. Maddison got the ball on the byline from a Sonny pass. It was actually beautiful play from Solanke holding it up and Jed Spence driving through central midfield to get it out to Maddison on the byline. He crossed it across the front of the box. Martinez didn't get enough on it and brilliantly finished by Decky Kulusevski. And at that point, we are cruising 2-0. I was saying, though, we had to get the next goal. And I thought that would be that. Eriksen was booked, or should have been booked, in the 50th minute for holding back a Spurs transition. Wasn't. Ref bottling it again. 52nd minute, Decky tried a Rabona through ball, but was too much on it, showing the confidence we had at that stage of the goal. And then in the 53rd minute, Dominic Solanke, bottom left-hand corner, from a beautiful ball over the top from Spence. Solanke running in, cuts across the defenders, hits it into the bottom left-hand corner. Beautiful and totally deserved. He had a brilliant game. Then United made a triple substitution. Xerxes, Mainoo and Diallo on for the frankly awful Anthony. Højlund was okay, and Eriksen was pulling the strings in that first half, but tired. 56th minute, Spurs still on top. Madders trying to slip Sonny in. It didn't come off. 57th minute, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing to what happened late in the game. Kulusevski's corner nearly went straight in over the keeper, but he just got it. Then in the 62nd minute, a huge save from Fraser Forster. Really brilliant save from a Xerxes header. And then straight away, well, actually, that save came from Forster giving a dodgy kick back out into the middle, and United had that chance. And then straight away, the same thing happened. Spurs overplaying. Fraser Forster giving a horrible pass out, attempting to find Dragoshin, and Xerxes slips in from Fernandez, winning it and crossing it. That's in the 62nd minute. 66th minute, United almost score again, getting in down the left, cross nearly put into his own net by Yves Bissouma. The corner leads to a shot from Diallo, which was deflected wide. 69th minute, the ref should have booked Mainu for stopping a transition, but he doesn't again, bottles it again. It was very odd. And then in the 70th minute, 3-2, because Forster was pressed and Diallo just slid in at his feet and the ball goes in off the press. Embarrassing. And Forster must have wanted the ground to swallow him up at this point. And frankly, that's when, the whole narrative was there. Gary Neville on co-coms just talking about how this is typical Spurs and that United can smell blood and we all know what's going to happen there. United had another huge chance wide from Mazraoui, 74th minute. Diallo, long-range shot over the bar, 75th minute. It was like the Alamo at this point. Maddison booked in the 78th minute. The referee, I've written in capital letters, is shocking, only giving fouls and bookings against Spurs. Bergvall comes on for Madders at that point to give us some legs. 81st minute, one of the weirdest saves you will ever see from Fraser Forster, who clearly at this point, his confidence is in the ground. And a long-range shot, I think, from Diallo kind of bends a bit at the last minute. It's right at him, but he chooses to kick it away. Very rare, but it worked. 82nd minute, shot over the bar from Diallo. And then in the 88th minute, it was buffering on my screen, but then I saw it. The corner goes straight in, I'm pretty sure from Sonny, and Bergvall was up. He's got a good leap on him. Bergvall gets up with the keeper, and his arm touches the keeper's arm. I don't think the keeper's going to get there anyway, but you'd think at that point, and I was saying, thank God we needed that, it's over. But no, 6 added minutes time. By this point, Reguilon has come on. Brennan Johnson has come on. Xerxes has a shot blocked by Porro. Mazraoui then shoots wide, and then it's 4-3. Johnny Evans from a corner at the near post. Bergvall then gets, I don't know, he goes down in midfield, and he's livid about something. He gets booked, and then finally, thankfully, the referee blows up. But my God, what an absolute wreck of a football match. Spurs, so good for so long, played it exactly right. But I've been saying it in watch-alongs, I've been saying it in videos. When the pressure comes on Tottenham, they don't know how to deal with it. And we nearly threw it away again. Thankfully, this won't go down in the pantheon of classic Spurs losses. I was at White Hart Lane when Tottenham were 3-0 up at halftime against Manchester City in the FA Cup. Joey Barton had been sent off at halftime for Manchester City, and Spurs not only lost 4-3, but they lost 4-3 to 10 men before it wasn't even extra time. And I thought today was going to go in as one of those pantheon performances of that word that I refused to say. But we didn't. We found a way through, and that could be huge for the future of this group. Absolutely huge. Let's talk about individual performances before I bring people in from around the world to give their thoughts. Fraser Forster, he didn't have much to do, and then he threw 2 in, so I'm going to have to give him a 1 out of 10. But like I said, hopefully he gets that out of his mind now. He will be pressed harder by opposition attackers. That will happen, but he needs to get it out of his mind. Better it happened there than some other time, but it can't happen again. Porro did well. Jed Spence, for me, one of my men of the match. We've got to find room for this kid. He's unbelievable. He's so good. Dragoshin and Gray. Considering Dragoshin, isn't a first choice and Gray isn't even a centre-back, I thought they did brilliantly. Bissouma and Sarr intercepted the ball well throughout. Always so much engine room in that midfield. Bissouma doing some Bissouma stuff throughout the game, but you're always going to get that. A little bit of a lack of concentration, but he was still going into the 97th, 98th minute. And I should say, because I didn't when I went through the game, Spurs, one of the reasons that Spurs really let Man United in, they clearly fatigued in that last half an hour. And that's clear. And that was always going to happen. We only had 2 players on the bench who we could really realistically bring on. Anyway, Maddison, I thought, did great. Deki Kulusevski, what a brilliant player, genius. I'm going to give him another 9 out of 10. Solanke, for me, probably my man of the match with Jed Spence. Fantastic hold-up play, unbelievable. And Sonny got the important goal at the end. Being a Spurs fan is just a horror show, isn't it? It's just a horror show. We got the win, but it's almost like it's impossible to enjoy the win. I'm going to enjoy the win. I'm going to talk to some other Spurs fans in a minute and try and enjoy the win. But blimey, they put us through the ringer. And what can Ange say to Fraser Forster to get his confidence back up? But the important thing is we are in the draw, and the draw is about to take place, and I'll bring that to you as it happens. Frankly, I want Arsenal in the draw. Let's take them down over 2 legs. I want Arsenal in the draw. It's Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Spurs. If we're going to win a trophy this season, it's going to have to be the hard way. We've had to beat Man United. We've had to beat Man City. But we're in the draw, and let's get a 2-legged tie against Arsenal, who I think, frankly, will play a lot of their reserve players. And in fact, maybe it's beneficial to try and play Arsenal or Liverpool because they're likely to play more of their reserve players. Anyway, that's been my instant match reaction, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it.